What up, everybody? It's Teeto Ceemos. Good to see you. I'm here with my guy, Olatunde. We're right here in my boy's studio. We're going to be talking about the recording process and the inspiration beside all the records that were on my new album, which at this point in time, I'm sure you've heard. If you haven't heard it, please, by any means, do us a favor. That's me and you. Check it out. It's in bad, go along.
Get to the download link.
Yeah, download link in my bio. In my bio, it's there. It's on every DSP, digital streaming platform. Come close. Let me show you some. Oh, shout out to Hennessy, by the way. Shout out to Hennessy, But yeah, this is the album art. The album is called Verses After Dark. And of course, that's my name under Teeto, This was created by my good friend from Adeni Jones. Zoom in on that. Adeni Jones. We don't play with Adeni Jones. That's where we're from. That's where I'm from. That's where my guy Ray Slick is from. A whole bunch of other creatives. LOS, Sinzu, a whole bunch of people affiliated with Adeni Jones. I can't think right now. Muna.
I have a question, sir.
What's the question?
What brand of car is that?
I don't know. That's something we have to ask Dukes. But now all these...
You're right, sports car.
All these need for speed things, and everything. But I had a discussion with Dukes about the album art that it's supposed to be like a late night drive. Okay. So it's supposed to have a nocturnal type of feel and everything. And he captured the essence. And if you look closely, this actually looks like that Mobolaji Bank, Anthony Way. Shout out Jones, shout out to everybody in Jones and everything. But while we're here today, we're going to be talking about
breaking down the album Verses After Dark by my man Teeto.
Yeah, tell him.
To expo, give me some exclusive listen. Shout out to him. So I listened to the album. I have a few questions. I'm going to ask him all the questions I have. Easy questions, easy ask questions.
Okay, be kind. I'm fragile.
So we are going to start from the very first track.
Okay.
10 tracks.
10 tracks.
First of all, why 10 tracks?
Small chops. See, I can't lie to you. Anytime I see an album list that has more than 10 to 12 records, no shade to anybody, it still overwhelms me.
Yeah, it's the times, man.
So my goal with this one, if I'm correct, the total running time is 32 minutes and 40 seconds. I might be wrong, but it's 32 minutes. It is not more than 33 minutes.
Okay.
So I wanted to have like high replay value. Please help my ministry, you people. High replay value. Stream. If you heard it once and you like it, listen again. If you have a playlist for certain vibes, Wallahi, from number 1 to 10, I'm sure you find one song. Just, help us. You know what I mean? So we'll get into it track by track. I'm all yours.
Exodus, the beginning, if I'm not mistaken.
Me and Slick, we sorta like Ryu and Ken. Shotokan school of karate, fire within. It's not in it. Say I had to acquire the zen. Seeking balance while I challenge what's the yank in my yin. Somewhere along the way, man, I stopped dreaming. Stopped believing in who I was. I got heathen.
Why you named Exodus?
Because if you listen to Lataro, the intro on Lataro is called Genesis.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you're a heathen and everything, but according to the good book, the very first book of the Bible was called Genesis. The intro on Lataro was called Genesis. And the intro in this, since it's the second whatever, is called Exodus. That's the migration of Moses and his people into...
I went to Bible study. Migration of Moses. Okay.
Won't try yet. But yeah, the migration of Moses and his people, but pretty much it indicates movements.
Okay.
So after Lataro now, the next thing is moving into the next phase. And
if I'm not mistaken, because I went to Bible study too, the girl talking in the beginning, that's like a Bible verse.
Yeah, that's Ecclesiastes 1.
Okay.
From verse 14 downwards. It's there's no specific place where you find out who the author of that Bible verse was, but by popular culture, it states that it's King Solomon. That's that popular phrase where he goes, vanity is vanity, all is vanity. So the essence of that particular speech before the record starts, it's just pretty much, there's nothing new under the sun. Everything you're about to do has already been done. Generations have come before, generations exist, generations will go. People will forget you. That what is the essence of everything that you're doing at this point? I think I would navigate it down to purpose and me fulfilling my personal journey and leaving my footprints in the sand of time and whatever. So
Pretty good stuff.
yeah, so I mean, sorry to take you back to Genesis. Genesis was me breaking the silence of everything that I did years before that I went silent. Since I didn't exactly go silent, I just didn't chart. Like, Oshama and Wonberry, which were my claim to fame. Shout out to Capitol Hill, shout out to Night House. But I mean, as an independent artist, I couldn't exactly put out stuff at that point in time. So that was me diarizing that timeline of my absence and everything. So I put all that in Genesis. 1 year later, I'm back with Exodus. And what I'm doing with Exodus is diarizing everything that happened between the release of Lateral until the release of Verses After Dark, the challenges I faced, ups, downs, highs, lows.
Yeah, you spoke about that a lot on the track Exodus.
Yeah.
You and Rich League, getting like your hopes up, coming out with Lateral, you get there was like boom, you got invited to Rhythm Unplugged,
Yeah.
like perform for 10%. Like how many people do you? I know that 10% is exaggerates. Like how many people did the Rhythm Unplugged you would have performed for?
Yeah.
You were supposed to come out with Mace, right? Come out for Mace.
We were opening acts for Mace.
Okay.
See, like when we secured our spot and I found out that I was going to be an opening act for Mace. Guys, you know what Mace did for us? You know.
Let's not start because we won't finish here.
We won't finish, yeah.
You know what Mace is.
And I mean, I met Mace, it was...
Was it like, hey,
The funny thing was he had a towel on his head and shades on, but I clocked the walk and I was like, Mace, and he just like, hey, it was good. I nearly fainted, but opening acts for Mace, the vision I had in my head was like, this Eco Hotel, big couple,
like just before Mace comes out.
Not just before Mace comes out. I mean, at the end of the day, to thy own self be true. I expected, a substantial amount of people in the crowd that, I could get to be converts of my sound. I was really like, who are these guys? Me and Rislik, we wore fine shoes, we wore our best baths. We'll get a whole new bunch of fans here tonight. They can check out the album. It will be like that stepping stone. We'll convert them into fans because by every means possible, we killed our performance was dope.
Yeah.
I mean, it doesn't matter if it was one person there, we'll perform for that person, but to our utmost disappointment, no shade, it's just that, like I said, if you listen to the intro, I said that it just made me realize, like, look, man, you guys ain't shit. Work harder. Like, that's why you have this slot. And trust Nigerians to show up at Nigerian time for everything. They showed up. The show started, I think, 9-10 p.m. And maybe it was the first 3-4 rows. Yeah, so maybe if I'm being kind to myself, I'll say 50 to 100 people. I really can't remember. But compared to what the place turned to later that night, by the time Ace was out, I was in the crowd. I remember Tenny had such an amazing performance that night. Tenny converted me that night. That's that kind of thing that I was looking to do. Yeah, in the sense of grind harder so we could perform at the peak times. My confidence wasn't dented. It was just like I wanted a bigger crowd to perform to. That's all I wanted. Regardless of the amount of people that were there, we did our thing. Like I said, we wanted to convert a whole new bunch of people so they could become our fans, but that opportunity was cut short.
Yeah, if you after you hear this, you'll be converted.
Yeah, man. I mean, you've heard it. I think it's I don't think it's dope. I know it's dope. It's in bad gone. So I mean, check it out, everybody. This is
so it's like a flow to this album. From Exodus, you go to Giddy Night.
Hello, while I'm playing, baby, what you saying? So let me get a drink. I love the way you sashaying. Text my guy, pull up. I'm all babes dead. I'm the only nigga here with about 8
This is my city.
scene, I was like, oh, this is definitely inspired by like a typical Giddy night weekend with all like the names you mentioned, everything just popped in my head. But then like a particular day, just driving, just like, man, this Lagos sweet. So I was like, you know what, let me make a song about it. Lagos is only sweet in the night.
Yeah. Wallah, Lagos will stress you out. But at night, I don't think I've been around. I've been a couple places, and I can't lie to you. Our nightlife, the essence, I think we party hardest till like 5:30 a.m., 6 a.m. in the morning. Clubs still full.
7 sometimes.
7, yeah.
I'm going to the stadium and Quillox is still packed at 7.
Packed at 7 a.m. So you know that Lagos life, you can only experience it to understand it and live about it. And it's not just popping on the island alone. In all the little pockets on the mainland, in Ikeja, places that I can't pronounce like Ogolonto, I'm sure. Everybody
to bitches, like
yeah. From what's this place called? The place at the new beach, the new one I've forgotten.
Yeah, that place.
That place, yeah. I mean, the nightlife is just amazing. So this record, Giddy Nights.
Yeah.
Shout out to EXO. I mean, and then shout out to the producer, Godo. Godo is the only producer in this album that produced 3 tracks.
Okay.
Almost every other producer was 1 track or 2, 1 track or 2, 1 track or 2. But I met Godo randomly on Twitter. Like, dude just mentioned me. Like, yo, Teeto, I put out an album. I would appreciate you checking it out. And I'm just like, okay. And for some reason, his energy just...
And you just checked it out.
He wasn't rude about it. And I checked it out. And I'm just like, but boy, you need vibes. Like, I like this guy's sound. Immediately.
Yeah, like who produced your song?
Yeah, and he's just like, oh, guy, I'm a producer. Like, blah, blah, blah. Let me send some things to you right away, blah, blah. And I'm just like, these guys know. I'm like, you can send it to me later. He said, no, I have your attention. He said, I have your attention right now. As in the hot, let me send you some tracks. And I love that. And he met me at he then reminded me that we met at the Hennessy Artistry Show last Christmas. And this was the last record he produced for me. And I think this was actually the last record that we recorded on this album. And EXO, who A&R'd the project with me, and he was responsible for the engineering, mixing, and mastering of the entire thing. Like, we worked in complete isolation, just 2 of us. Like, you were the 3rd person to hear everything that's... Seriously, you're the 3rd person to hear the entire process. Like, nobody has heard it. Like, we work, apart from people that are featured, of course.
Yeah.
So, EXO and Neola, everything is just coming full circle at the same time. There's some video, sidetrack, there's some video that myself, EXO, and Neola did in 2010. That, I mean, Neola was his love interest. I was just some guy in the video, and he was the guy singing. It's called Best Friend's Girl. But we reunite on this track 3 years later. I mean, EXO being the engineer, and he getting Neola to come on the record. And, he was in the studio with her, and he called me like, Teeto, Neola is here, talk to her. And I'm like, yo, Nini, what's up now? It's love, I'm a fan. Like, come through for your boy. I'd already done the first verse. She heard it. She's like, oh, I fucks with this, that I'll do it. And within the next couple of days, we're all up in the studio together, and Chike Agada, that's the guy on track 5 with me and Lord Vino. He actually wrote the hook for this chorus. And I mean, I did some singing on it as well. If you notice,
Yeah,
I did some singing on it as well. So you guys,
light skin Drake, I see it.
It's not light skin Drake, it's light skin Teeto, man. Expect that R&B record from me coming soon. Like, sooner than later, you guys will hear wah. I started hitting notes now. So
next track, Royalty. I listened to this one. I was like, oh, this one felt a little personal. Like,
Say you loyal, child. What do you stand for? What ties you down, bro? What's in me your anchor? When it all falls down, what do you hang on? And if your man wins, do you clap your hands for it?
It's OZ. How dare you question my loyalty? Do you know how deep I went to sow the seeds? When I went back to finish school, I didn't do it for me. Against my better judgment, I did it to keep the peace. Man of my word. Red breed.
First of all, how do you get Mr. No, how do you get Ozone on the track?
You know, how I put it, Ozone, we get small history back in the Night House days. Phenom kept telling me, shout out Phenom, kept telling me that there's this guy that wants me to battle. You know, battling was my claim to fame that year now. So Phenom arranged for me and Ozone to battle, and we battled for forever. I loved working with Ozone because unlike any other rapper that I've worked with on this project or any project before, most rappers like to work in isolation and, you know, possibly try to out-rhyme you and everything. I love it. It's a sport. DNA. Yeah, it's the rapper DNA. But, you know, when I heard this beat, shout out to Dicey. Dicey produced Gucci and Celine and Genesis from Lataro. Yeah. So this is the only track that he produced on this one. So Dicey sent the beat and I picked it instantly because Verses After Dark, everything has this feel for me. Like, for me to pick a beat, 10 seconds, I know if I'm rhyming on the beat or not. Instantly, I heard it, I was just like, yeah, I want this. And the hook came to me immediately. And because I've listened to Ozone's projects, I knew that this would be something that he would have some shit to say on, which was why he jumped in my head instantly. And Ozone told me like, yo, Teeto, have you recorded your verse? I said, yeah. Have you recorded your hook? Yeah. Send it to me. I was like, you want me to send my verse to you? He's like, yeah, like I want to tailor my verse like after your verse so we can have like synergy. And you know, I love rappers so much because they be kicking some kind knowledge sometimes and everything. I played it for someone, I won't mention, and the person was like, sorry, they killed Sankara, shit just don't make no sense. And the person was like, who's Sankara? I'm like, you know Sankara, that's the president of Burkina Faso, that, you know, his side guy, he's a deputy, plotted a coup against him, and the guy did everything righteous for his country. And basically, I love how Ozone stuck to the topic, and I try to like hit it in the area where everyone can relate to. I talked about fidelity, I talked about Jesus Christ and Judas Iscariot, and basically, would you rat out someone you love just so you can prosper? That's the essence of the entire record, you know. So we did it and I loved it. Like it
came out really good.
I loved it. Like it was like I feel like I owe his own money right now. Like that's my guy. Like he was so clutch with it and everything. But yeah, that's loyalty. That's loyalty for you, man.
So from loyalty to ride with me.
Shooters be shooting us down.
We outside all day, I'm on this the vibe. Buckle up, I'm on this the flight. If we're ever moving forward, then we're like choppy, this the time. Hope my words catch fire and this shit ignites the minds of those inside. I can see the heights. We try see the light, they try divide, they try inside. They light a fire and say it's tried. They might decide to fight, they switch inside, they snipe, connive, they rape.
Very political, so I'm like, I wasn't into your politics, so like, have we really like come to that part where I feel like you can no longer ignore like what's going on around us? You know, before we still had like the leverage to say, oh, this thing will affect us like that, but now that we're all like grown and everything, I feel like you can't escape talking about politics again. Was this why you did right away with Show Them?
You want the funny thing, I mean, shout out Show Them. I mean, Tech and Ghost, they're like kindred spirits and everything, but in their earlier years when they came out, when I became a fan of who they were, I mean, I actually met Ghost through Ray. Like, Ray wanted me to battle Ghost, but I mean, that never happened. But then they were very politically charged in everything they were doing, the few YouTube clips I saw and everything. So they're doing the whole palm wine vibe thing right now, which I absolutely love. But I can't separate them from that first impression. You know, that first impression that lasts forever.
Yeah.
And I wanted to do a conscious record where we could talk about things that were happening and how we feel oppressed and bullied by a whole bunch of things, excuse me. And April May, I met her through Dukes, who did the album art. I listened to her EP And from the very first record, you should check out her EP if you haven't checked it out. April May is a phenomenal singer. Like, she is so good. Her voice is refreshing. I almost don't believe she's Nigerian. I mean, no shade. She's just different, and I think she has like so much happening for her and much more to happen and everything. So because I had so much to say on that record, I think I recorded like 3-4 different verses. So I wrote like 3-4 different verses for this song.
Why you decided to like bring Tribal Council?
Like I said, first impression. Earlier in when they came out, 2009, 2010, them guys were politically charged with some of their content, and the one I saw back then that stuck with me. So I always saw them in that light. So I just said, you know what, Ghost Tech. You guys have to kill this. And Ghost was actually in the studio with me. Tech sent in his verse and everything, and I mean, Ghost, like Ghost go play, and Tech. Why I love them niggas is when I told them stick to topic, we start the record with this whole we outside thing. And both of them didn't play, they stuck to it. And they stuck to the topic, how it was doing each person on his chest. They brought that same energy on the record, and it was just, I love it. Like, I mean, I love every single record, of course. But
then we go to Falling.
Now it's Bottega shoes, clutch Chanel bags. She posts about God, but let him know she got ass. It's more than the physical, I like her mind. She say the right thing, know how to excite my kind. Ceemos.
I know you won't believe it, I'm falling for you. There's no need to conceal it, you're feeling me too now. It's you that I wanna be with, I could be there for you. I'm always with you now, check it.
This one definitely personal.
Falling, was it personal? At all. I was just in character.
Okay.
I won't say it was personal, I was in character. Like, Falling is for the ladies, It's a love record for the ladies, because I mean, why am I just in my hand? They don't love me that much. So it's easy for me to tap into my personal experiences and everything. And there was something I tweeted some months back that I don't know what the future holds, but as long as I have creative control, Lord Vino will be on every record, every album I'm doing. So the moment I heard Falling, I'm just like, Vino. And Chike is an Adini Jones boy. I knew Chike was going to kill it. So without question, like, that's 2 songs that Chike worked with me on this album already. I knew Chike was going to kill it. So I just sent Chike my voice. He's just like, yo, Ceemos, this is beautiful. Next couple of days, sent me the hook, sent it to V. It was done. Easy money. And what Vino's message said was, it's not really hard for me to talk about my life. So this one do be concept, so it's not hard.
And the fact that like something could book.
Oh shit! You see, what I told Vino was like, this guy, you're going to get the entire COVID. So the feminists will love that shit. I'm trying to put twins in your belly. The girl goes to be cook, the boy goes to be book. No, the girl goes to be book, the girl goes to be book. You get it?
Yeah.
I love that. I loved that shit, and that's that essence I was looking for and everything. And I understand what you're saying about it being personal, like that whole thing I said, like, you're just telling you with my brain, and nobody said that to me. That's just
I just should bring your creative space.
exactly. That's just me playing with words,
I see you, rapper.
It's what we do.
Came with the theme of the album. There's also a late night drive.
I avoid and I make fuck up moments at all costs. In the Badlands, I'm a clipper, Paul George. Composure Kawhi, step on the ball court. Big things, bitch, miss me with the small talk. Go against the odds, ensuring they all fall. Text me, nigga, fuck you placing a call for. No chill, I knock 'em out the ballpark. Since my rookie season been labeled.
Now, Late Night Drive, track 6. Talk about sticking with the theme of the album. Like, earlier this year, I ventured into learning how to produce this record. So, shout out to me, shout out to Ceemos, shout out Fresh Boy.
So you produced this?
I produced track 6, Late Night Drive. That's all me. I might have borrowed Godo to come and do one bass line for me. I said might have, but this is all me. I produced this record, and it was the first record on the project, actually. that I recorded first, and it pretty much set the pace and the tempo of everything that we wanted to do on the record. It just has that vibe. Won't you take my vibe?
That's a midnight track.
Yeah, that's my wife, by the way. And I have my girl TP on the hook, you know, singing the whole melodious harmony thing. You know, don't shout out at me for beats. I swear, I don't know how to do it. I forgot to.
So, next track,
Yeah.
Overdose. Ray Slick.
This ain't rap, it's a podcast. I'm giving you life notes. Your life coach drowns your voice, nigga. Here's a lifeboat. I'm here to supply what was heavy in demand. It's basic economics, but your man don't understand.
Ice cold, hot freezer. Cocaine flow, pen bleeding. No keys when we open doors. Niggas gon' get it till they overdose.
So is it because Ray Slick is like society to go like all ham? And you're like, you know what? This boy, he didn't rap.
Now, here's the thing. Like, if you look at the credits of this album, you see A&R as myself and EXO. That's my engineer and producer that produced Ride With Me and the track with Vector and Dami O'Neill. When I hollered at Beats by Jay to get me this record, shout out to AQ, by the way. Like, that's for some nigga, for some reason. I can't explain it. Actually, I can explain it. You know when Guy Ballhead, D-Wade, Kobe or D-Wade, someone mentioned something about, no, D-Wade mentioned that Kobe hit him up like, yo, I see the way you weave through traffic. How do you deal with these niggas on offense?
Yeah.
I started recording this album at the end of the lockdown, and by the time I got to the 8/9th record, this is a 10 for 10 album, by the way. I didn't record anything extra or anything that I decided to cut off.
So every single thing was for the album.
I was intentional with it. Every single record was tailor fitted to come into this album. It's a hit or miss. Like, I mean, I like to think everything hits.
Yeah, it sounds like a hit to me.
I stand corrected. But I mean, everything hits. But I hollered at Beats by Jay, and I was talking about when D-Wade hollered at Kobe.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, when Kobe hollered at D-Wade, that, yo, how do you do this and everything? And by the time I got to this Beats by Jay record, I think that was the 9th record, I was tired and emotionally overwhelmed with everything I was doing.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, in between all this and chasing a whole bunch of niggas to send in their verses and some people to send in the hooks and everything, it's a lot. It's a little.
Yeah, especially doing it independent.
It's a lot of work. It's let me not speak English. It was a lot of work, so I was just tired, and even though I conquered writer's block, like, I don't know, a long time / lifetime ago, I was tired, and I actually got into this loophole. So at that point in time, I guess I just needed to vibe with similar minds, like people that I talk to. So I mean, Beats by Jay produced the record. I spoke to AQ. AQ is my nigga. We've been through
I thought you were saying AQ. If you didn't tell me you spoke to AQ, because there was a line you said something that this can rap by Beats by Jay. How is Beats by Jay rapper? AQ, am I without a clarified?
No. AQ is my nigga. We've been through it all. AQ and I were on the same label I was still in uni then. It was maybe 04, 05. I can't remember. I still did like year 2 or 3.
He was very popular on the Larry Street.
Yeah, them lyrics, you know, lyric boys, but yeah, we're on the same label. I mean, I never signed, but he was signed. And that was how I met him. I battled almost every rapper in this life. We just be 5 fights. But you know, I spoke to AQ, I spoke to Ghost. Like, yo guys, what's your headspace like when you're recording an album and everything? How you like get through the process? What's your creative measure? And AQ had my time. Like, he's just like, yo, Teeto, man, the guy wants full lecture on me. I get the feeling that guy is going to be a pastor someday.
Yeah, I think it's not like an OG in rap.
Yeah, and everything. So we talked, and you know, it gave me some clarity. And after that, by the time I started writing again, I breezed through the record. Like, it opened my mind. So that track, Ray Slick, I didn't think of Iwe. Sorry, calling him Ray Slick weirds me out. But I didn't think of Iwe even doing the hook or rapping on that album, because simultaneously we're supposed to be working on individual projects. I did not want to feature him at all, because he's done an entire album with me. And you know, I was already thinking, you know, I hollered at Beats by Jay. Who do you think would do the right hook for this? I don't want to do it alone and everything. And shout out to XO, which is part of why I gave him the A&R, because I mean, he came up with the whole Neola concept for the Lagos Nightlife record on Giddy Nights. And he's like, guy, don't think too far.
The man is there.
Your guy will body this hook. And I was just like, oh shit.
That's true.
it even crossed my mind. Just to prove how intentional I was with this album, I didn't consume one drop of alcohol. I needed every single
100% clarity.
100% clarity, 100% intentionality on the cadence and delivery of everything I was doing. In fact, 1 to 10. On a good day, I'm always, you know, slightly tipsy / slightly buzzed when I'm recording an album, because, you know, you're drinking, but this one, 100% sober. Like, I didn't do wine tasting. Now, through the mixing and mastering, that's a different thing, because I'm not doing everything, but I just did it.
Yeah, that's a lot that you've got through that.
Yeah, you know, I mean, shout out to Henny. They were there for me in those dark, boring times where XO was mixing and mastering the entire thing. Y'all need to rock with XO, by the way. You need to check out my sound, the clarity, the crispness, the freshness, the clearness. XO is the best sound engineer in Africa. I'm knocking it to my chest. Like, no, guy, didn't you hear it?
Was crisp.
If a pin dropped on that thing, you would hear it. Like, I mean, I stand corrected. If you think you're better, let's work. But XO finished the mix. He finished work on the mixing and mastering of this album and everything. You know, you can take a look at the artwork again. You know, it's Verses After Dark. The link is in my bio. It's out on all digital streaming platforms. You know, I'm just a boy from Adeniyi Jones doing his Need for Speed thing on the late night drive. Coming from Lekki to Adeniyi Jones, everything. I'm just
next one, the feature I didn't see coming.
Yeah.
Samir.
This shit took time, but it was worth it at night. This shit took time, but it was worth it at night. Yeah, bright lights. Been on the scene since like high five. Watch me, yeah, skydive. Hop on the track, kill that shit, bye. This ain't even sci-fi. This shit took time.
Like, I didn't see that coming, and I didn't see that the vibe of this song on this album. So why did you like? Because this is like kind of like a trappy.
It's trappy, but I stand corrected. I think it matches the late night vibe that we're looking, because if you remember with the interview speech I did at the beginning of the record, late night driving on the way to the club. Like, if you are club hopping from Sip to Velvet, you don't want to be hearing Loyalty or...
Nah. I get it. I mean, these guys are like hard to. These guys are like so called status P, man.
Now, how will I put it? Because I believe in this project so much that I believe that, I mean, God has a hand in it. Or, you know, how we woke social media people like to call it, the universe.
Yeah.
has a hand in it and everything. Now, there's a little backstory with myself and LOS. Teeto Ceemos. We grew up in the same neighborhood. That's Ray Slick, the whole of LOS. That's Tommy, Grace, Young, Bridge. I was there when Bridge got his name because, you know, I drove them to Jimmy Jack's studio for Jimmy's Jump Off in, I think, 2009. I mean, I was still coming up then and everything, but I hit up Jimmy Jack and I told him, like, yo, look, I've got these young boys. Like, it was Ray Slick. That time, he still get hair small. And Ceemos, low key, that nigga is an OG.
For sure, those guys.
Yeah, I mean, they're young, but they have enough industry experience.
Yeah.
They've earned their stripes. The whole bad guy P thing. They've been around. They've seen it all. She may know this or not know this. I low-key use my babe as a tester. Anytime I'm feeling a jam or a beat or something, I don't say anything.
You just play it.
I just play it.
The person's like, oh, Chris. And I know that feeling. And I'm like, oh yes, I was right.
Yeah. I just do that. So I just played the Zamir jam. And she was walking past. And she just stopped. She first goes, is that Drake? I was like, Drake wrong, no. I'm like, no, that's Zamir. She's like, who's Zamir? Then I mean, you know LOS. Then I told her everything, and he sent me this. She's like, actually fire. And in my mind, I'm just like, okay, say no more. So, I mean, my creative process is, I mean, like I said, I have a 15-second test for everything. So either I'm feeling it or I'm not. Instantly, I felt that, but every record on this album, because I mean, allow me to toot my own horn just a little bit, I showed a whole lot of range. From politics, to loyalty, to love life, to personal demons and regrets and everything. It's all encompassed in this album and everything. So when this particular record, at night, you know when they say high jumps? Because I'm not used to rapping on trap beats. We're not from that era. We're not from that era. So I did a whole lot of personal research on it. I did just some research, listened to a whole bunch of trap records and tapped into my
Trap zone. Trap.
My chakra was in sync, you know. I went into my whole zen, did some meditating. And by the time I started writing the verse, it was a breeze. And it was a rascally verse. It was just a typical night out, which is, I mean, it's closely tied to Giddy Nights in terms of the late night experience in being a Lagos boy, shit that I've done before in the past. So it was easy for me to tap into it. So we just describe what a typical Lagos nightlife is like, you know, throwing a little sauce on it, change the delivery, and by the time it was done, I knew the shit. Yeah, I've never rapped like that before in my life.
For some funny reason, wrong thing, story of the exes. I don't know why we didn't record it inside. Shout out to all the exes. The ones I ghosted, the ones I didn't ghost. Maybe I didn't do in my head, but this is the story of the exes, man.
Moon took me to a place of self-actualization. Couple hearts that I broke, several accusations. I'm not only talking love, you get some bad relations that could have worked out different if I had some patience. R.L. Kimbale. That's something my mama said when I was young and it still resonates in my head. I'm second guessing every word way before it said. We get along, don't mean you should end up in my bed. I never ghosted anybody, I just kept it honest. And I've been on both sides.
So what's the story behind this one?
Yeah, first off, this guy ain't shit. I don't know, I mean, I ain't shitting though. I mean, and this is actually one of my favorite records. I mean, I love all of them. But, you know, it's one that I had to tap into desolate spot in my head to write. It's got my girl Moon on it, who I had never heard of before. Godo introduced me to her. And I was just like, yo, who is this chick? I need to work with this chick. He's like, Tito, but I'm like, I want to work with this chick. And the original record that I wanted to do, which was her song, didn't work out. So I said she has to do something for me because, I think I have a good ear and I know how to find people that are like really dope. So I think she killed the record completely. And it's not the story of the exes, but
Story of the exes once again.
I mean, I just talked about my personal experiences, imperfections. But yeah, I mean, this is like me talking about personal experiences and my imperfections, ups and downs, and several relationships that, I've been through. Not several, one or two that I've been with. But this guy here,
One or two too.
the real Yoruba demons that they talk about, is this nigga. And it's one of those really cool tracks that I think like the female fan base can resonate with a lot. And I think the guys too, like this demon, it would make him reflect. And
I really did reflect, man. Let me call Shadi right now.
She don't block you.
This last track,
Yeah.
is a very kind of like somber track.
Yeah.
Very, when I heard it, I was like, damn. The way Zeme hit was when he saw him because you talk about losing a lot of people.
Will I see my lost friends and will I clear it out? I'm in the fog in my mind. Like times when I wondered if you did feel and when I miss you. And do you see my greatness or later I'd have to gist you. Like whichever way is fine. I just hope you hear me deep in the rhyme. See death don't make sense. Maybe I'll get it when it's time. Until then I'm trying to find the answers.
What was like that process like? How did you muster up the courage to write that verse, especially the last verse? Before we talk about working with Vector and Dan, what was just that thought process like? Are you losing all those people like you talked about?
Everyone has said it that 2020 is a bastard. I lost someone very dear to me just as I was wrapping up this album. I lost my baby brother in October 2015. He was just about to turn 20 or 21 at the time. Then I lost my nephew as my sister's son. He was 10, 11 at the time. In 2018, December. I think December 23rd, if I'm correct. Sorry if I'm wrong. As an artist, you can't express things that you've not been through personally. And these were things that I've never talked about personally before. And because of the subject matter of the track, if you listen to what I did on the verse 1, which I got inspired by Kobe Bryant passing away. I'm a huge Kobe fan. The full short life or a long miserable one. If heaven was guaranteed and I gave you a gun, that pretty much, do you want to live long and just live a miserable life where it's just subpar, where you're just a statistic or everything, or would you rather live a short, fulfilled life and everything where you leave your mark and you're well celebrated and it's impactful and everything? So Kobe's death inspired that verse 1, and of how riding through the 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, and 80s. If you get to live to 80, it's a blessing. Yeah, so I went through that and everything, and because of moving on to Vector and his poetic vibe and all these Oshisko deep that is always posted up and down. Vector, man, like when I phone deep go. It was the second track also I recorded on the album, so he came to mind instantly. And outside of rap, I gotta give it up to Vec. He's that nigga. Vec is he's like my brother. He's cool like that. Like we vibe, we talk. He's a very playful, funny nigga and everything. But I knew he would bring something on this record, and there was something he said in this verse that really, 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 really resonated with me. He said, I think he lost someone. Then he said that, do you see the greatness, or really I have to gist you? And he said, whichever way it's fine. I just hope you get it deep in the rhyme. because death don't make sense. I hope I get it when it's time. Until then, I'm trying to find the answers. Like, that shit, it hit me because nobody knows what's on the other side. You don't know, I don't know. Like, but when we get there, because it's the only thing that is certain after taxes and Lagos traffic. So I hope that when we get there, we would get that clarity of, oh, so this is what this is about, because this can't be our home. I strongly believe in the metaphysical, and I believe there's more to what we're doing here. So whatever you're doing, do it right, and make sure you make Valhalla, as the Vikings call it.
So the album really ended on the somber note, but
reflective,
and reflective. But I don't want us to end on that low pitch. So how did Damio Nero on the album?
We made a basement gig. We were both on the roster for it, and I met her and Teems a couple times. I met Teems with Tech. And they always just happen to be around or something. And, I'm a big fan of their work. I worked with Damio Nero. Next up is Teems, because I'm a fan. But Dami has this soulful essence I can't explain. Like, I'm such a groupie / huge fan of Damio Nero. Like, I love her. She reminds me of Brandy. Like, she writes her own shit too. Like, she's
super dope.
Have you listened to her EP?
Yeah.
Breeze Lounge.
Breeze Lounge. Just knew.
I knew Dami was going to kill it. Based on that basement gig thing, you see how everything just goes full circle? You get me? Everything just goes full circle.
Say this album under the Friday with all the other 560, 600, 7,000 songs that come out at the same time. Why should I listen to Verses After Dark?
Verses After Dark, because I'm Teeto Ceemos, nigga. Like, I'm dope. Like, if you don't know of me, know now. This is a universal standard that you're not gonna get anywhere else. The music is beautiful, it speaks for itself, and it resonates with you, and you will find something to connect with on this album. I promise you, I put my life on it.
Press play.
Press play.
That's it, guys. Verses After Dark breakdown.
Shout out to my nigga Olatunde. Teeto Ceemos album is out. Check it up in my link. And there's so much more to come. Stay tuned. Peace.
Clubs popping, but Velvet is correct. Small play, pre-game during to main event, and that's really the best way. Sabi all the guests. Bugulubu Central, Hawaii, mental. Leave your manners at the door moment that you enter.